Shalom, giving all praises and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bahakudash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of great most and it will well, and Shalom to the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel and the rest of the elect destined to be saved. I'm the Bava Kala, back once again with another video to edify the Lord's elect. Always like to start by saying we are the real Hebrew Israelites, and the real Israelites are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, West Africans predominantly, but you will find Israelites that do look like the other nations because we've been scattered among all people. But if you're seen lying by your forefathers goes back to the man in the Bible named Israel, then you too are an Israelite no matter what you may look like. So I want to speak upon this article that you can see on the screen, but I'm going to have to be very cautious about how I word this, so bear with me as I'm going to try to word this in a way that doesn't get the video striked or flagged or whatever. Now, this is interesting because last week at the main camp, we were going into this very issue where Esau's building a number of scenarios from which he can use as a springboard to launch another, lockdown type situation. So there's a number of different things that Esau's been putting little news articles out about. Last week we were talking about this, I believe they were calling it walk-in pneumonia. And I just read an article before I read this one talking about how in the UK their ambulance services are stretched to C119 levels. So they're building a case. Who knows what narrative they're going to run with, but Esau's planting these seeds for a narrative that he can potentially run with. Now, I read this article from CNN, which is it Central News Network? I can't remember what it's called, but it's a main news outlet, and they're pushing this story. And I'm going to read it. It says, because basically they're trying to work on the minds of the people to coerce them into compliance, into taking these, cheap shots, these, serpent's venom, whatever you want to call it. And it says it's not too late to get V'd as the holidays and respiratory viruses season ramp up, right? This was published on today, Friday, 8th of December. Now it shows someone there getting juked, which obviously is not a good idea because it's off according to the scriptures, because I believe it's Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 28, which tells you that you're not supposed to make any cuttings in your flesh. So that's going off. See, Esau's using a sword to slay people, but as Elder Apostle Tahar said, you can use a big sword or you can use a little sword. That's a little baby sword that Esau's got there, but it's just as deadly, maybe even more deadly than a regular sword, because it's going to cause a lot of problems in your body. All right. It says now's the time to get V'd to stay safe and healthy amid holiday gatherings and rising levels of respiratory viruses, including the flu, C19 and RSV, experts say. To protect yourself and your family, see, they're preying on people's emotions. To protect yourself and your family this holiday season, take the steps that we do every year to protect ourselves. Dr. Mandy Cohen, director of the US CDC, said in a video posted to social media on Wednesday, it's not too late to get V'd if you haven't already. It takes about 2 weeks for V's to provide optimal protection, so getting the shot now would lead right into Christmas. But the shots offer some additional protection before that and will after, which is obviously permanently not true. Do it right away. See, that's the narrative they're pushing, said Dr. William Schaffner, an infectious disease expert at Vanderbilt University. The bulk of the winter is yet to come, so still protect yourself. So far this season, V rates are low, but respiratory viruses transmission is high. Weekly hospitalizations for flu, C19 and RSV are on the rise. CDC data shows during the week ending November 18th, there were about 7 new RSV. I'm going to be careful I say this. Respiratory V's admissions, and every 100,000 people about 35% higher than a month earlier. C19 levels in wastewater, a leading gauge of viral transmission, are high, and rising, while flu is increasing across most of the US and RSV levels are elevated according to the CDC, and overall outpatient visits for flu-like illnesses and fever, as well as cough and sore throat, are well above the baseline nationality. Levels are high in 15 states, especially across the South. Now, Esau try and confuse you with these numbers. He puts all these numbers and statistics out there to try and prove his point, but really it's there to prey on the minds of the weak. You know, those who are weak-minded will be influenced by the stats, and they'll think, oh shit, I've got to get this done yesterday, and they'll walk straight into, you know, a negative situation. Now, reading on, I don't know if I really need to read on too much because, well, I'll read on a little bit more. The CDC recommends annual flu V as well as the updated C19V for everyone aged 6 months and up. You see, they're targeting the lower people. They're trying to get the youth them. And there is a new RSV this year recommended for those 60 and older. So Esau's targeting everybody pretty much. And what is it? There's no scripture. It says, "You will not show favor to the young, nor mercy to the old," roughly paraphrasing. Let me see this. Yeah, Deuteronomy 28 and 50. Deuteronomy 28 and 50 talks about Esau in his nature. 28 and 50. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 49 says, "And Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth." And what's the symbol for America, the eagle? "A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young." So that's Esau's nature. And in this article it gets into it because it says he's targeting children 6 months and up, and also 60 years and older. Reading on, it says, "Yet fewer than 2 in 5 adults and children have gotten the flu V this season, according to CDC estimates. About 16% of adults and only 7% of children have gotten the latest C19V, while about 15% of older adults have gotten the new RSV. A KFF survey from November found that most adults in the United States were not worried about getting sick with C19 or spreading it over the holidays, but experts all urge caution. And CDC forecasts suggest that this respiratory disease season will be similar to last year, which saw hospitals more full than at any other point in the pandemic, and worse than pre-pandemic years once again." See, Esau's building his case, man. Reading on, it says, "We have an early signal that these Vs are not going to go away and will be active in our communities," Schaffner said. "We can mitigate that, reduce the impact if, as a population, we take advantage of these Vs, and furthermore, we'll also reduce some stress on our healthcare systems." See, that's what they're pushing. Do your part to help society. "It is safe to get a flu V and a C19V in the same visit, according to the CDC. No, it ain't. This might be a more convenient option, especially for those who have delayed getting their shots. Vs given at the same time, the same visit should be given in different arms or at least 1 inch apart," CDC says. "Beyond that, getting both shots at the same time does seem to make it a bit more likely that you'll experience a temporary reaction to the shots. The most common symptoms reported in a government study were fatigue, headaches, and muscle pain." In addition to Vs, experts urge people to use additional layers of protection during respiratory V season, especially those at high risk of developing severe disease, including seniors, pregnant people, and those with underlying or chronic conditions. "Use additional layers of protection like avoiding people who are sick, washing your hands, improving ventilation, and wearing a mask," Cohen said. "And if you do get sick, I know it's hard, but stay home so you don't spread germs to others, and are tested so that you know what you have and to get treatment." So that's the end of the article. essentially Esau's just building his cases, putting a lot of different stories out there to scare people, so that when he does want to push a particular narrative, he can hit the ground running with it. Now, I quoted Leviticus chapter 19 verse 28, which deads this whole conversation, because as Israelites, we're supposed to obey the law of the Lord. And it says, Leviticus 19 verse 28, you shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh. Now, you might see it as a light thing. Oh, well, it's just a little jab, nothing to worry about. But hey, little things lead into big things. And I'll put it this way: if you aren't of strength, if you don't have the strength of mind right now to resist Esau's V shots, how do you expect to resist the MOTB? Because it's really going to be used. It's going to be the same method of insertion. So now's the time to take a stand against those things and build yourself up in the spirit to resist. Me, myself personally, I put my business out there. I've got an ongoing chronic health condition where I have to, have periodical meetings with doctors and so on and so forth. And there was a particular point in time, because I'm on long-term medication, where they used to want me to get blood tests. And they still do want me to get blood tests. In fact, I got a phone call earlier this week asking me to come in and get some blood test forms, but I refused it, because basically, when I came to into the knowledge of this truth, I thought long and hard about it, because they would want me to have these blood tests periodically, because they're saying, oh, we need to keep a check on the medication and how it's affecting you. But I made the decision when I came into this truth that I'm not going to take no more blood tests, because rather than trust medical doctors and stuff, I'm going to put all my faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Now, that takes faith, and I just said that's what I put my trust in. I put my trust in the Lord. Now, someone in the world could say, well, look, man, taking the medication you're on for such a long period of time, over time, it's going to have adverse side effects, and it could potentially shorten your lifespan, which is a possibility. But and the doctors will say, but if we take the regular blood tests, you'll be able to, counter these problems before they arise. Okay, sure, but I don't trust Esau and his medical system. I trust Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. And if the Most High wants to take me to the spiritual realm, then let him take me to the spiritual realm. I'm not going to go against his will just to prolong my days on earth for 5 minutes more, 5 months more, 5 years more. No, man. When the Lord calls me, he calls me. And that's when I'm due to depart. So why should I trust Esau and his fucking doctors, man? Because, look, man, I ain't letting any of them Edomites near me with a needle if I can help it. So the point being is that in 2018, I said to them, look, I'm not taking any more blood tests. Let the chips fall where they may. And they'd say to me, oh, but why not? And I said, well, it's because it's against my religious beliefs, point blank, period. Now, at the time, I had a care coordinator who was a Jake, and she was very interesting because she was actually on my side, and she would actually ask me questions, and I would share little bits of the truth with her, and she received it. And she was actually quite high up in the system. She was one of the managers. And I told her, look, man, if it's possible, I don't want to have no more blood tests. And she said, that's fine. I'm going to put a note on your records to say that you requested no more blood tests, so you don't have to take them. Now, unfortunately, she left the place where I used to go for my appointments. A couple years after that, probably about 2020, she left, and ever since then, I've just been passed around like a bad penny, from this person to that person. Then I have to be with this treatment team, and then with this care coordinator. I've just been passed around a lot. And in that time, all these new people who have come onto my case, they've all been trying to say, oh, it seems like you haven't had a blood test in some time. I'm going to book one for you. Can you come and collect the forms? And all the time I told them no. And then they always ask me the same question, why not? And I say it's because it's against my religious beliefs. You know, when they ask me, oh, what religion are you? I just say I'm a Christian, just to, you know, I'm not going to go into the depths of the truth with them because, look, man, a lot of them are heathens and they can't get it. The woman who I spoke of before, she was the Jake, and I don't know what her outcome will be, but for the time she was on my case, she did an excellent job, and she shielded me from a lot of bullshit that I'd have had to face with a you know, without such a good care coordinator. But anyway, not to go too deep into that story, the point is that I refused blood tests in 2018. And even to this day, we're at the end of 2023, just this week, I literally got a phone call from the GP surgery saying, oh, you haven't had a blood test in some time. We've got the forms here. Could you come and collect them? And I told them the same thing that I always told them. In fact, I've told them this on this is probably the fourth time this year they've tried to force me. Oh, could you come and get your blood test forms? With different people, like, you know, different people working in a GP surgery have been calling me, asking me, and I always tell them the same thing. No, I don't take any blood tests. I will not be getting any forms. I refuse them. And they always try and coerce me. And it's silly because, I mean, when you think about it, right, there's spirits to everything. And it's a real nasty spirit. Actually, maybe it's the fifth or sixth time I've refused it this year. It's been more than that, actually. But yeah, I told them no all the time, but yet they always keep asking, they always keep pushing. They want you to be pricked. But hey, I ain't no prick, man. Over here in the UK, a prick is a term for a fucking idiot, you know, slang term. I ain't no fucking idiot, so I ain't taking no shots. And I advise any of you who are listening to this, that are Israelites and of this faith, take the same stance. You're probably not going to be in a situation such as mine, because my health situation is kind of, you know, a thing that probably not many other people may have to go through the same thing that I'm going through. But just have it in your mind that, look, man, don't be letting no Edomites near you with any needles, man. Because at the end of the day, your health is your health, and nobody's got the right to tell you what you should be putting in your body, especially when it goes against the scriptures. I've read it here already. I'll read it once more again. Leviticus 19:28. It says, "Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh." So that's a commandment from the Most High, and we're supposed to do the best to keep our commandments. Now, we can't keep them all. For the ones that we can keep, we should, because you know what? Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not unto your own understanding. Because when you start trying to do things your way, it tends to go south. Trust in the Lord and stick with what you said, and Lord willing, He'll guide you to the right outcome. So with that, I want to close out giving all praises, honor, and glory once again unto Yahweh. Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakudash, double honors unto the elders and apostles, a great millstone that will well. Shalom to all the Arkim teaching this word around the globe with faith and truth and sincerity. And I'll catch you on the next, Lord willing. Short Shalom for now. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next video, Lord willing. Shalom.